Attentional processes. Selective attention and sustained attention is there. In this video, we will be learning selective attention. At any given moment, we are subjected to constant flow of sensory information. But in most cases, we don't pay attention to each and every one of these sensory experiences or the stimulus. Instead, we center our attention on certain important elements of our environment while the other things blend into the background or pass us by completely unnoticed. How it happens? Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Thank you. Selective attention. Selective attention is defined as the process by which the human brain directs its attention, a finite resource, to a single thing for a time. So, selective attention is the process of focusing on a particular object in the environment, and this focus is for a certain period of time. Attention is a limited resource. So, the selective attention, it allows us to tune out unimportant details so that we can focus on what matters. For example, imagine that you are trying a new recipe and you are looking into a cookbook. You need to prepare your dinner. So, while you reading the instruction, the same time someone is watching the television, the voice is there, then the washing machine is running, then somebody talking over the phone. So many noises are there in the background. Despite these distractions, you will still manage to read the cookbook and you will be able to follow the instructions in the recipe book. So this happens because of the selective attention. The selective attention is also known as controlled attention, directed attention, or the executive attention. The selective attention is an involuntary response in your brain and it functions as a filter. So the attention process functions as filter rather than doing the multitasking. The selective attention identifies which multitasking elements are most important and divert its attention to those things, those important things. This filtration system is extremely fluid. It moves in and out of its task seamlessly. So that is selective attention. Why is selective attention important? It is important because it allows the human brain to function more effectively. Consider the example of a computer. If there are n number of data are stored, so many windows, tabs, programs are opened, what happens? The computer becomes slower. Same way, the human brain would quickly and easily become overloaded if the selective attention was not there. So, selective attention is very important for the function of the human brain. It acts as a filter to keep the brain working optimally. Selective attention is also important because it makes sure all of your important tasks are attended to. It allows your mind to prioritize your needs as an invaluable tool in accomplishing goals. It keeps yourself safe and performing basic tasks. For example, selective attention might let you know if you are busy in your work. The selective attention let you know that your stomach has begun to ache due to hunger. You feel the hunger, so your attention will be changed. It signals you to an important lack in your current state. So that is selective attention. It is vital to both seemingly menial tasks and the survival-based one. There are two types of selective attention, visual and auditory. To understand how selective visual attention works, let us look at the two important models. One is the spotlight model. According to this model, the visual attention works like a spotlight. We select the information by concentrating on a focal point. The area surrounding the focal point is called the fringe. The fringe is visible but doesn't fall under your direct focus. The area outside the fringe is the margin, which has little to zero focus. For example, when you use a magnifying glass, you focus only on the relevant or important text. But certain areas, such as the white space on the sides, are still visible even if you choose not to focus on them. So these are the fringe and the margin areas. The next is zoom lens model. It is similar to the spotlight model. The zoom lens model, it suggests that we can increase or decrease our focus, just like a zoom lens of a camera. But the focus is larger because you can zoom out and choose to focus on more information. The difference between the spotlight model and the zoom lens model is that in zoom lens model you can zoom out and will have a larger focus on more information. Then auditory. Imagine that you are eating dinner with a friend. You are in a restaurant. In the restaurant, you know that there will be sounds of the cutlery, the sounds of other people talking, then so many other disturbances will be there. Even then, you manage to chat with your friend. This ability to focus your attention while filtering out the unnecessary noise, it is known as the cocktail party effect. It is first described by the cognitive scientist Edward Colin Cherry in 1953. Cherry discovered that some people could focus on a single talker or conversation in a noisy environment by turning out other sounds. So there will be so many sounds or noises and turn out other sounds and then focus on a single point. The business conferences are examples to observe the cocktail party effect and understand the power of auditory selective attention. Selective attention theories. The selective attention has been a topic of interest among various researchers. Here are some theories of selective attention that will provide light on how the concept has evolved over the years. First one is Broadbent's filter model. Donald Eric Broadbent. He is an experimental psychologist. He put forward that we use a selective filter while processing information. In other words, our capacity to pay attention is limited. So, we determine which information we want to attend to. That is, according to the Broadbent's filter model, we use a selective filter while processing the information. The next is the Treisman's attenuation theory. The psychologist Anne Treisman, she proposed the attenuation theory to account for the fact that people were still processing the unattended information. In Broadbent's filter model, he couldn't address this gap. That is, what will happen to the unattended information. It is safe to say that the Treisman's model added layers of complexities or sophistication. The attenuation theory suggests that we process both attended and unattended information. So as per the Broadbent's filter model, we filter the information and we attend only the selected information, while Treisman's attenuation theory says that we process both attended and unattended information. For example, attenuation is like turning down the volume so that if you have 4 sources of sound in the room, consider the TV, the radio, both are on, the noise is there, then people talking, then baby crying, so certain noises are there in the background. You can turn down or attenuate three of the noises in order to attend to the fourth. So that is attenuation. Factors which determine our attention. There are objective and subjective factors are there. The objective factors are movement. A moving object draws our attention more easily than a stationary object. For example, any flickering lights or any moving vehicle, etc. Then intensity. More intense the light, sound or smell, it draws our attention more easily than the less intense one. Then novelty. New kinds of objects draw our attention quickly. For example, the advertising agencies adopt these techniques very effectively. For example, latest fashion dress, shoes, etc. If we find the advertisement new, then it will definitely draw our attention. Then size. A bigger or a smaller object draws the attention of the people very easily than the average level size of any object. For example, a 7-inch taller man and a 2-inch dwarf, a very fat man and a huge multi-storied building, etc. It can draw our attention quickly. So the size matters. Then change. A change in our environment draws our attention quickly. For example, the regular sound of a moving clock does not draw our attention, but the moment it stops, our attention is diverted. A shop is placed in a new place, a radio playing a song, stops due to electricity failure, etc. draws our attention. Then repetition. When a stimulus is presented repeatedly, our attention is diverted. For example, repeated horn of a fire brigade or ambulance. Then clarity. An object or sound which can be experienced clearly. It draws our attention than the stimuli which are not clear. For example, during night time, the stars and the planets which are seen clearly draw our attention. Then colors. The colorful object. They draw our attention more easily than black or white objects. Then contrast. An object that is strikingly different from its background, it draws our attention. For example, a black spot on a white shirt. So these are certain objective factors that determine our attention. That is, these factors pertain to the aspects of the object. Now let's see the subjective factors which determine our attention. These factors refer to the individuals. These are inherent in people. There are many subjective factors which determine our attention. First one, interest. The objects of our interest draw our attention immediately. For example, while moving on a road, a sportsman, he will be attracted to a shop where the sports material are placed. Usually the kids, they will get attracted to ice cream shops. Then a person who is interested in a particular singer, he will immediately divert his attention when he hear the or listen the voice of his favorite singer. Then motive. Motives are powerful forces which make us to divert our attention. For example, if you are hungry, definitely a restaurant will draw the attention because your motive is to lessen your hunger. You have a drive for the food. Then third is mental set. Our mental set or the readiness of the mind. It is very important in attending to any stimulus. For example, if a person is in fantasy, he may not listen to any call. He will enjoy his dream world. But on the other hand, if he is waiting for a phone call eagerly, he will listen to that immediately. Then emotional state. Attention is disturbed during emotional state. It also affects our perception. For example, when a person is highly excited due to fear, he may not listen or understand what others say. Then habits. Our attention is diverted automatically towards the things to which we are habituated. For example, a smoker remembers smoking even if he is otherwise busy in some work. A person habituated to take food at a particular time remembers food at the correct time. Attention of a nurse is automatically diverted towards a serious patient. So these are habituated. These are the subjective factors which determine our attention. Now let's have a quick recap on what we have learned. We have learned what is selective attention, what is the importance of selective attention, and the types, the theories, and the factors determining the attention, like the objective factors and the subjective factors. So with selective attention, people can function well and effectively in the face of countless sources of distraction and confusion. Hope you like this video on selective attention. We will learn the sustained attention in the upcoming video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.